welcome to another Kemetic Bite. I'm your host, Sharon. And I have been busy the last few months. What else is new? I actually had a complete review of Eye of the Sun by Carrie Wisner taped, and I had started the editing process and then accidentally deleted the source file. So I had to retape it and start over, and I'm going to work on editing it as soon as I'm done here, so that is coming, I promise. In the meantime, I also finished another novel. This is the proof. I'm about to make it available on Lulu. Now, it's not going to be under Sharon Lavorde, because I've got to keep these separate from my pagan books, so you'd have to look under S.L. Broussard, and you'll find it. Lots of little references if you're familiar with your Egyptian names and lore, little things sprinkled in there, but that's not what we're talking about today. I know I have a lot of questions and comments to catch up on. That's my Kemetic New Year's resolution. I celebrate Kemetic New Year, or Wep Ronpet, on July 18th, which is coming up. But a lot of people are probably talking about another big day coming up very soon, being Amazon Prime Day. Or now, apparently it's 2 days because it's July 15th and 16th. Of course, if you're a Transformers fan like me, there's lots of jokes to be had about Amazon Prime Day. And yes, I've seen a lot of them. Internet, you make me laugh and laugh. I just wonder what my favorite photobomber would have to say about Amazon Prime Day.
I wonder if they have free shipping on Kiss My Ass.
But this is actually relevant for us as Kemetics and Egyptian pagans. Why? Well, for one, because the internet is so influential to modern Kemeticism. How many of us were introduced to it by the internet in some form or another? I'm posting videos on the internet. But this is something that can have a direct impact on not only how we shop, but also potentially how we earn a living. Let me explain. There's already been a lot of discussion about shopping online versus shopping at a brick and mortar store. And yes, I'm going to be one of the first to tell you, if there's a way that you can buy something in person from a local business, then do it. Because otherwise local businesses can't survive. But for those of us that kind of live out in the sticks, online's the only way you're going to find certain things. I can't go to a local store and buy heavy gauge bonsai wire. Yeah, that's a thing. Pagan things, like Egyptian statues. Several of them I've gotten online. For a lot of us, that's really the only viable option we have. So, when you do shop online, there's a way you can do it and buy from individual sellers. Now, if you go on eBay, that's pretty much all there are, is individual sellers. If you go on Etsy, that's nothing but individual craftsmen and sellers. If you buy your books from Lulu, and we talked about that a little bit last year with Eye of the Sun, because you can only buy it for an exorbitant amount on Amazon, but you go to Lulu and you can buy it directly from the author. Also, it's better to go on Lulu because Amazon takes a chunk out. They are a middleman. And so the authors that are selling on Lulu get less if you buy it from Amazon versus directly from Lulu from their page. So just a little bit of a helpful hint for you as you're shopping. Now on Amazon, and I shopped for some things on Amazon while I was, looking up stuff for this episode. Let's hear for cashback bonuses. Amazon's a little tricky, though. What you have to do is watch for some things. Check this out. They just recently changed some options. You can look for used things, especially books, but you have to uncheck the new option. That's going to be set as the default. They want you to buy things new from Amazon directly, but if you pay attention, you can uncheck that option and look for individual sellers. They're going to be named, say, from so-and-so. Those are the people you want to buy from because it's people who are going through all the trouble to gather these things and list them and sell them to you. Yes, that means you're going to be paying shipping. It's not going to be like Amazon Prime where you get it all shipped free. But when you think about it, even Amazon itself has found a way already to factor, their shipping costs in. You're going to pay it regardless. So just go ahead and support the people that, are selling from themselves directly to you. You are supporting other folks like yourself instead of some rich douchebag who owns a mountain in South Texas and put a 10,000-year clock in it. And no, I'm not making this up either. I mean, the idea sounds fun, but I could think of a lot better things to do with $42 million. So, a lot has already been said about online shopping destroying physical retail stores. And we know this. This is going on. It's a thing. And a lot of those jobs, there was a John Oliver report that talked about how a lot of those jobs have been replaced by jobs in warehouses for places like Amazon, which really amount to glorified indentured servitude. But these reports don't talk about all the people that are now self-employed, selling through eBay, through Etsy, through Amazon, as individual sellers. A little bit of perspective, this is going kind of way back for some of you, but in 2005, CNN actually did a documentary that they called The eBay Effect. And at the time, this was a new thing. I had heard about, a crazy ex-friend, supporting herself selling things online, and I thought she was even more nuts. But I saw this thing on the eBay Effect, and they talked about people with disabilities who couldn't find any other work. They found work selling, the way to support themselves, selling things on eBay. And you know what? In the years since then, I've done that. I've sold things on Yahoo, I've sold things on eBay, I've got an Etsy store, I've got Lulu. And a lot of you may have the same thing, and if you don't now, you might in the future. I might have just given you an idea on something. Here's a fun idea. I knew a guy who works as a scriptwriter, but for a while his thing was finding designer sport coats in Goodwill, and then turning around and reselling them on eBay, and making plenty of money doing it. I'd have never thought of that, but hey, it just goes to show you could know about something weird that nobody else does that could make you some scratch. But the only way that things like that work is if you support other sellers. So shop on those places like eBay or on Etsy. Etsy is a great place for pagans because you can get a lot of things that are handmade, things that are made for our specific needs. Because, I mean, face it, are you going to find Kemetic supplies at, a big name store? No, you're not. So this Amazon Prime Day, don't let their fulfillment centers be your one-stop shop. Look for individual sellers. They are out there on Amazon. And what better day to support them? And of course, look for your others. If you don't have an account on Etsy, you can actually shop as a guest. I think you can do that on Lulu as well. If not, it doesn't take much to set up an account. If you've got an account on Amazon, you can get one, or on eBay, you can get one on, the other sites too. And that way you can support other people and especially fellow pagans. As I mentioned earlier, Egyptian New Year's coming up. I celebrate it earlier than some because, there are other groups that do it at the beginning of August. But there are a lot of common traditions that are beginning to form. And I wanted to talk about those for a minute because that's, an important part of, living your tradition and, living your faith. And when we explain it to others, that's one of the things that we can do is explain, what are some of the things that we do. Gift giving is a big thing because, and we know this from historical times. We found, artifacts that were inscribed with Wep Ronpet Nafrit, Happy New Year. So it's funny, my husband is Christian, but he and I will, share gifts with each other, give each other Egyptian New Year's gifts. An important thing ritually is, of course, exposing, your statues to the sun and, having a reconsecration ceremony, to renew them for the new year. Some people apparently either put on their statues or on themselves green fillets also known as headbands. And the green, of course, symbolizes renewal, rejuvenation, vegetation. It would be a good time to celebrate holiday meals. It could be something Middle Eastern themed, but doesn't have to be. And of course, with the days upon the year being the 5 days leading up to Egyptian New Year's, it was traditional way back when to light lamps or torches, especially in the temples. Now we have the advantage of battery-powered LED lamps, and it lit up this time, yay! So you can have little battery-powered lamps to go through the night. Another thing that you can do, and this is borrowing a little bit from later Middle Eastern traditions, look for fanus lanterns, and you can find some of these that are battery-powered too. Probably the easiest thing to do, because you type in fanus on a search engine and it's going to go crazy and go, did you mean famous? No, I meant fanus. Or you can just type in Moroccan lantern and you will find plenty of them. They're very beautiful, and that's certainly something I'd love to get, at some point and light up for the days on the year going into Egyptian New Year's. Some other things you can do, if you plan ahead, you can shop during other holidays to get things that you can use for Egyptian New Year's, like sidewalk chalk at Easter, and just wait till the summertime and draw some Egyptian themes in your driveway. Or shop at, depending on where you are, Victoria Day, Canada Day, or 4th of July, and get maybe a few little party poppers or fireworks. Don't go for, something big. I think if you lit off, big Roman candles in your backyard off-season, you might get in trouble for that, but the little confetti party poppers would be a great thing to do at the end of a ritual, especially, or maybe at sunup or sundown, something to, dispel negativity. Or you can go stargazing. Because yes, the times that stars rise and set now is a little offset from 2,000, 3,000 years ago, but it's still the same constellations, it's still the same stars, so that's a really inspirational way to connect with something bigger than yourself. I love to go stargazing when I can. So those are some ideas. If you've got some, share them, and let's get ready. The holidays are coming. And for us, they really are actually coming soon. Not like all the Christmas stuff that we'll be seeing in probably just a couple of weeks. So this has been another Kemetic Bite. I'm glad to be back, and looking forward to doing some more stuff for a new Kemetic year. So for the Kemetic Independent channel, this is Sharon wishing you Sanibti.
Do you have a question about Egyptian paganism? Share it in the comments section, and it could be the topic of the next Kemetic Bite. Don't forget to subscribe, and check the video description for more ways to support the Kemetic Independent channel.